You have come up from a difficult background yourself, grown up with a single mother and 4 sisters.
It's always a tough environment to be in a place where there is very limited resources. My mother worked as a nurse at a hospital. I started working at the age of 18 as a pizza delivery person.
A stranger walked up to you and said, "Naak help cheyalani undi, kani naku platform ledu." I think Youngistaan is meant for us one person.
And when this person walked up and said, idea chana bagundi, kani practical ledu, kani meeru emana platform create cheyocha. And then I said, okay, let's start do something.
Very amazing programs, one of which is Transformers.
Then we would figure out a lot of people had, hygiene issues. They would get infections. They were used to live in bad, clothes, maggots in their hair, looking very shabby. We've seen people dying in our hands and all of that. Those are all heartbreaking.
A major part of Youngistaan, volunteers.
Boy came to volunteer with us. He went back home. Purpose I'm calling you and thanking you is because I wanted to come to Youngistaan, do something good.
Break the Silence initiative. Not many people know about it.
It's all a hush-hush topic and nobody speaks about it in open. As a teenager, I used to go to medical shops. My sister would give me a slip. I used to go hand it over to the
Medical shop used to wrap it like a gift and give.
I thought my sister is smuggling something, thinking that Youngistaan will run for 12 years now. People thought, he's coming, emo cheskuntundu, time pass. But the amount of effort that has gone in and the amount of lives getting transformed.
వెల్కమ్ టు అన్స్క్రిప్టెడ్. కొన్నిసార్లు ఒక చిన్న ఇన్సిడెంట్ మనకి ఉండే టార్గెట్ని కంప్లీట్గా మార్చేస్తుంది. ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ అదే జరిగింది అరుణ్ డానియల్ గారికి. ఒరిజినల్గా తనకి ఒక మ్యూజిక్ బ్యాండ్లో ఉండాలి, బిగ్ స్టేజెస్ మీద పర్ఫామ్ చేయాలి అని డ్రీమ్ ఉండేది. బట్ హైదరాబాద్ స్ట్రీట్స్లో కండిషన్ చూసిన తర్వాత తన ఫోకస్ మారింది. 2010లో జస్ట్ 5 వాలంటీర్స్తో 10 హోమ్లెస్ పీపుల్కి ఫుడ్ పెట్టడంతో స్టార్ట్ అయిన ఒక స్మాల్ ఇనిషియేటివ్ ఇవాళ యంగిస్తాన్ ఫౌండేషన్గా మారింది. టుడే it is one of India's largest volunteer-driven organizations. Over 70,000 young volunteers తో 60 cities-లో almost 5 million lives-ని ఇంపాక్ట్ చేశారు. గ్రౌండ్ లెవెల్ ఫీడింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ నుండి స్టార్ట్ చేసి సైబర్ సేఫ్టీ అవేర్నెస్ అండ్ మెన్స్ట్రువల్ హైజీన్ టాబూస్ని బ్రేక్ చేయడం వరకు దే ఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ అ రియల్ ఇంపాక్ట్. అరుణ్ ఫార్మర్ జర్నలిస్ట్ అండ్ TEDx స్పీకర్ మాత్రమే కాదు, he is someone who turned a moment of discomfort into 15 years of solid action. Please welcome the founder of Youngistaan Foundation, Arun Daniel Yellamaty garu. Hi sir, thank you so much for joining with us on Unscripted today. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty excited to see the amazing work that you're doing and hopefully contribute more to that.
Yes, for sure. Let's start from the beginning. You have come up from a difficult background yourself, grown up with a single mother and 4 sisters. How did it all begin?
It's always a tough environment to be in a place where there is very limited resources. And I think my mother did her best to support us by, she used to work as a nurse at a hospital, did whatever best she could do. And of course, my sisters were heroes. They do amazing work in whatever they do. And, I think life has been very independent for me. I think all the time I've grew up to identify things by myself. I think even in school, I never had somebody to guide me on what I should do, etc. So it's always majorly self-learning, self-evolving careers. And I started working at the age of 18 as a pizza delivery person. And I think one thing I enjoy doing is, try to look after myself and give back to home, and how I can, build my own career through that. And I started working very early. I did event management in call center and build a career around it.
మీరు ఇప్పుడు అన్నారు పిజ్జా డెలివరీ, దట్ ఈస్ అ బిగ్ థింగ్ టు అడ్మిట్ in front of everyone. Do you think Youngistaan అప్పుడు వచ్చిన ఐడియా మీ స్ట్రగుల్ చూసుకొని?
I don't think so. I think Youngistaan never happened then, because of course there was a time where I was trying to look after myself. that much thought I never had of, okay, let me try to do something, because during that time I was trying to figure out what all I need, and try to live up to my own needs. Kani, I would not say did not influence, because I keep telling I want to be there to help people like me. సో అందుకే నేను చెప్పేసారి ఏం చేసావు అంటే, ఐ వుడ్ సే నేను డామినోస్లో పిజ్జా బాయ్ లాగా పిజ్జాస్ డెలివర్ చేస్తుండే, బికాజ్ ఐ వాంట్ టు నార్మలైజ్ దోస్ కాన్వర్జేషన్. మన దగ్గర ఏమంటే వర్క్, డిగ్నిటీ ఆఫ్ లేబర్ కొంచెం స్ట్రగుల్. సో ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ వర్కింగ్ అట్ like a delivery boy, they look down on you. Atla kakunda, I'm pretty open, and I'm happy to share my struggles, and hopefully somebody will also be like me, come out and starts helping out people.
Moving to Deccan Chronicle, when you started your journalism career, అక్కడ ఫారినర్స్ హోమ్లెస్ వాళ్ళకి ఫుడ్ ఇవ్వడం మీరు చూసారు. సో డూ యూ థింక్ ఆ టైంలో మనం we were so ignorant towards these people that some foreigner needs to come and look after them అని అప్పుడు ఏమైనా మీకు అనిపించిందా?
I think more than that, I think I remember my sister, because she lived in abroad. Akkada she lived for a long time. So her friends used to come to Hyderabad, they wanted to come and see. And I remember how this was very young, and I would see, people at signals, they would knock the door, and lot of local people would pull up the window. They would never pull down the window and say, okay, how can I help? But I saw these friends of my sister, they would roll the window down and say, hey, can I help you?
Okay.
What is happening? And they would try to give money. Then we would say, no, don't give money, rather buy something and give. So I realized how that empathy of, for trying to help people was a little less. Even though we speak a lot about it, there is, apne khoon mein hai, they say, we are more sensitive, but we don't do that in action. We only do for our own people.
Yes.
బయట వాళ్ళ కోసం ఎక్కువ చేయరు. So I think that's what I've seen a lot of, and I thought, why don't we do? I think we should be looking after our people, and why would encourage others to come and look after? I'm happy they are doing, because we need a lot of support. Whenever anybody is helping, it doesn't has to do with race, religion or anything, but there's a lot of learning for us.
When you had your band, and appudu in a moment a stranger walked up to you and said, నాకు హెల్ప్ చేయాలని ఉంది, కానీ నాకు ప్లాట్ఫామ్ లేదు.
Correct.
You think Youngistaan is meant for that one person?
Absolutely. I still remember, so we used to do a lot of programs, and during that programs we used to tell people, hey, why don't you go help others in the community around you? Because I never thought I'd start an NGO. I never had money. I'm like, where would I need money for myself, where will I go help others?
Yes.
I think after that concert, one person walked up and said, I like your idea, మీరు చెప్పిన ఐడియా చాలా మంచిది, ప్లాట్ఫామ్ లేదు, and there is no space where you can make an impact.
Okay.
So, and of course this was some 13-14 years ago, where nobody would have seen a platform where young people are coming together and are making an impact. And when this person walked up and said, ఐడియా చాలా బాగుంది, కానీ ప్రాక్టికల్ లేదు, కానీ మీరు ఏమైనా ప్లాట్ఫామ్ క్రియేట్ చేయవచ్చా అంటే, then I said, okay, let's do something. And again, it was never an idea of starting an NGO. It was just bringing young people together and say, let's see what we can do. And that's what it started off.
That's very nice. I mean, అంత మీరు ఆలోచించి ఒకరు వచ్చి చెప్పినంత మాత్రాన చేయాలని ఏం లేదు, but still you took it up and it's great.
Right.
So, but when in journalism, and then you did your masters in social work as well, where did it all align, sir?
I think journalism, I always wanted to get into, like, I remember after my inter, I did event management. Then I thought, let me do events. But then I got some good job offers, but I turned that down and I said, let me go back to college. And that is when this new course called Mass Comm opened up. So BA Mass Comm, and I said, this looks nice, let me join it. And after being in that course, I thought I wanted to do film production. That was something For me, it was let me be in a platform where I can make an impact.
Okay.
So music was, how, young people listen to, how you can use music as a tool to inspire people. And that's when I thought, okay, films is a tool that you can inspire more people. They say picture speaks 100,000 words and a movie speaks 10,000 words. So I thought, okay, film production, that was my dream. Then I think right after college, I tried looking for ఏ కాలేజెస్ జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఎందుకంటే అప్పుడు ఎక్కువ ఫిలిం కోర్సెస్ చాలా తక్కువ ఉండే. బాంబేలో కొన్ని ఉండే, అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా వెరీ ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్. దట్స్ వెన్ జర్నలిజం హ్యాపెన్. ఐ థింక్ వన్ ఆఫ్ మై ఫ్రెండ్ randomly said, why don't you apply? I was very bad at writing. I still remember reading newspapers. I said, okay, let me try doing this. And I loved every bit of it. I think I would go I would start my work around 9 o'clock and finish till 1 o'clock. I would meet so many different people every day. I think meeting people and trying to write about what kind of impact you can make. I think that's what happened. And Youngistaan happened while I was still working in a newspaper, but it was just trying to help. It was never an organization setting. And after I finished journalism, or while I was working, I said, okay, I need to build my knowledge if I want to help people, if I want to do community service, if I want to run an NGO. I need to build my knowledge. Social work is not a popular course, at least in Hyderabad or even across India. It's still a very not a popular course that people niche, correct, not many people study or read about. Now there are few universities outside Hyderabad, but I wanted to learn, so that's when I did masters in social work. I think that connected me to a lot of like-minded people in the field, that helped me try to get some learning. I think that's how social work happened, and it did help me.
You got into social work because Youngistaan cheyalana lekapothe
Youngistaan మంచిగా చేయాలని. సో ఇప్పుడు
makes more sense.
హెల్ప్ చేస్తున్నాము, కానీ కరెక్ట్గా హెల్ప్ చేయాలి. అది ఐ థింక్ ఐ వాజంట్ డూయింగ్ రైట్. సో దానికోసం I wanted to build network.
Such nice thought process.
Kada, I have no idea. I don't know how it worked. It just randomly happened. But
you did teaching also.
I did little bit of teaching. I used to do a certificate course at a college called Yellamaty. So I would teach Yellamaty. So I used to go there, I think every year, 3 months. And I would teach people on writing for media.
Okay.
So it was good. I think for me, connecting, being in touch with young people is something I would always loved. And man, those young people were amazing, So I think that's some teaching I would do. And of course, guest lectures and all of that is something I still do. I love doing all of that.
Yes. So moving to your very amazing programs, one of which is Transformers. So can you tell me oka moment ఉంటుంది కదా సార్, ఒక homeless person కి hair cut ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత you hand a mirror over to them. How did they feel, and our reaction చూసి మీకు ఎలా అనిపించింది?
I think even when Transformers program, now we call it livelihood and hunger, because we are also trying to check how we can transform the lives of people for a long, forever. I think when we started off the Transformers, it was about, we used to cook every Sunday.
Okay.
And we would feed homeless people.
Okay.
Or people whoever were hungry, and we would say, what more can I do for you? I would give that food packet, have a conversation, sit and talk to them. And then we would figure out a lot of people had, hygiene issues. They would get infections. They were used to live in bad, clothes. Maggots in their hair, looking very shabby. And of course, we didn't have a shelter home to take them. But we said, okay, let's start giving, making them, have after counseling, just give them little physical makeover. Let's make them feel a little more, there's so much of dignity in their life. We were trying to get that back. And we started giving haircuts. While giving haircuts, we would see so many injuries. It used to be very heartbreaking. We would see maggots in their head, a lot of injuries, and we would get trained by a few doctors, and then we would clean people up on field.
Okay.
And I think one thing we realized during that time is small impacts matter a lot. When you wear a new shirt, you feel so refreshed. You feel like you're the best looking person in the room. I think that kind of a confidence we wanted to create. I've seen a lot of people went back home. దాని తర్వాత they felt very refreshed. I'm living in such a bad um, environment. I deserve better. And I see a lot of people went back home. Of course, people gained confident. Few people went back to jobs next day. So that kind of impact, those are very heartwarming. And of course, we met a lot of people who were in very bad situation who we couldn't help. We've seen people dying in our hands and all of that. Those are all heartbreaking. But yeah, there is lots of stories around there.
So you handle a lot of volunteers. I mean, a major part of Youngistaan volunteers. So వీళ్ళు depression తో జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళు they feel better helping people.
Correct.
You've said it earlier. So do you want to add something to that?
I think I keep saying one of the greatest tool for mental health, now that we're speaking on mental health and well-being, is to volunteer. It's when we start putting focus on others than on us. When we think more about us, we worry more about us, that is what affects us a lot. Kani, we've seen a lot of volunteers who have come down. In fact, it's their stories. They come and tell they started thinking different. They became more humble. They feel more gratitude of what they have and what they miss and what they want to create for others. And I've had people who I still remember this one incident I keep saying many times, where this one boy came to volunteer with us, and he went back home after cooking, went on Transformers and went home and called me next day saying, "Arun, thank you for letting me volunteer." I said, "No, very welcome, come back." But he said, "No, you don't understand." He said, "The purpose I'm calling you and thanking you is because I wanted to come to Youngistaan, do something good. I was very depressed in life. I wanted to come back home and end my life. But now my heart has changed. I feel my purpose of my existing is way more than me. So I want to, do this more often." And that kind of impact volunteers make, and they do this. They are amazing. I feel today's young people are massively socially aware. They are the one who are making change on ground. They are more sensitive of the needs of people. So I'm very fortunate to have volunteers as one of our big pillars, who are our partners, who we work with. So Youngistaan work with volunteers and through our other initiatives, and they play a big role in that.
That's very nice.
Actually.
The next program that I want to talk about is Senior Saathi. నేను దీని గురించి చూసినప్పుడు I was like, wow, what a program. So, but there is one thing that you have made it particular. Volunteers, young people, ఎవరైతే ఈ senior citizens కి companionship ఇవ్వాలో, they have to undergo psychometric tests. Why is that?
So they don't go a psychometric test, but we do a lot of training for them.
Okay.
So we run an education program, we run a menstrual health program, in the same way the senior Saathi program. All programs, what we try and do is we train volunteers before they go on ground, because they need to be sensitized on what they are trying to do, and helping them understand the people they are working with, and the modules that we want them to get involved in. Because in the process of trying to do good, you shouldn't do something bad. So that's why we do a lot of training to all our volunteers before we go on ground. In fact, volunteering in Youngistaan is very, very difficult. In fact,
I know.
I keep telling you, volunteered like long time ago, and we keep saying to people, come to volunteer with an intention of making an impact. So we say there is a lot of expectations, because ikkada emante you are working with other human beings. So you have to be up to the mark. It's not a socializing club. So we try to make that impact, and it's a very high stressful and fun environment.
That's but how does it work? అంటే వాలంటీర్స్ ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారా సీనియర్ సిటిజన్స్?
Oh, lovely. They do. Like, in fact, I have, I think that's why when I said no, volunteers have become very sensitive. They are way more passionate to make an impact. We've seen a lot of young people only selecting senior Saathi because they see a grandmother in them who they might have lost. There are, a lot of young people are very connected to their grandparents, and when they lose them, they want to be around people with that kind of warmth. And we have a lot of people only signing up for that program. They say, can I be part of that program? Because it breaks their heart. They see their grandparents and they go spend time with them, talk to them, just read books, play games. And now what we started to do is do a little more of digital literacy,
Okay.
so that they
This
can
is,
order.
older people?
Older adults, yes, so that they could order, make them feel more independent. They've done so much in their life. It's just that now they are lack of energy and strength. వాళ్ళకి అంత ఎనర్జీ లేదు. So but we want to help them continue their independence. What other thing is, మనము ఎప్పుడైనా ఎల్డర్స్తోని కూర్చుంటే వాళ్ళకి చాలా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉంది. They have learned so much in life. So these young people, in fact, learn a lot from them. Life's the free career guidance. So they learn life skills, they learn career guidance, they become more smarter. All this wise wisdom and all these elders pass it on to these young people.
So it's co-related and they are both happy.
Yeah, it's both of them together, and very happy that what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's nice. And
In
other
fact, Harichandra ma'am, she played a very big role in ensuring that this initiative comes together, and she was also equally passionate about that.
as you mentioned, Harichandra ma'am, you also worked with the Telangana government in Cyber Congress,
Yes,
and you've trained school children.
correct.
So, Ella, how did you get that idea? Idi cheyali ani.
So, in fact, Cyber Congress was an idea of Women's Safety Wing itself. During COVID, they have seen a lot of internet being misused, a lot of crimes against women and girls, and they were running an initiative called Cyber. And the second year, they came up with an intervention called Cyber Congress, which was led by Saathi ma'am and Sumati ma'am, and a lot of great cyber experts. And during that time, we were trying to check what we can do. And then we came up with a wonderful initiative for 10 months. I don't think there has been a campaign that was run for 10 months in this government school. So I think Cyber Congress, the idea was to enable adolescents, school children, so that they go back in their communities, వాళ్ళ communities లో లేసి cyber crimes prevent చేసేటట్టు. So it was one of a kind intervention.
So, moving to Break the Silence initiative, I think అది ఇప్పుడు 5th edition లో ఉన్నట్టుంది.
Correct.
So, దాని గురించి కొంచెం చెప్పండి. Not many people know about it.
I think Break the Silence around periods is one of our unique interventions that we do as part of our gender and health program. So what we do under gender and health is we work on creating awareness on menstrual health with adolescents, have conversations around health, hygiene. With girls, we are also starting with boys very soon. The intention is, of course, we give an awareness to children on field, then give access to products, set up incinerators, and also make washroom facilities
Okay.
better for girls in their environment. While we are doing that conversation, what we also have seen is the urban cities has a lot of taboos around periods, and it's all a hush-hush topic, and nobody speaks about it in open.
Even now.
Even now,
2026.
26, yeah, it's still so bad. And I think one of the reasons, I think long time ago, when I, like 6 years ago, I wanted to bring this in urban communities. How can we have these discussions? And then that is when stand-up comedy, slam poetry, these things were coming up. And we said, okay, why not have conversations and where we're trying to break stigma around periods and having it in a more openly discussed conversation. So that's when we started having stand-up comedy, slam poetry, and that is like our annual event for our gender and health program, where we every once a year do that, and close to 70% are men who attend it. So
You
it's
insist?
no, we don't invest. We keep it very open, but we put in our poster a small title saying "Bring your Mard friend along," so that we want a lot of, you know, there is a perception saying, "Arey, only for girls होगा," you know, हम लोग के लिए, it's not for us. మేము రాకూడదు, అనేసి అట్లా అనుకోకూడదు అనేసి we tell our volunteers, hey, invite your male friends, because there's so much of learning that happens. Now in fact we started doing panel discussions as part of in fact last week we had gynecologists, we have innovators who come and have conversation on how can we solve problems or stigma around periods. And we are good.
How do these boys react?
I think every program we ask people, hey, have you learned something new? Everybody have opened up, and it breaks different stigmas. People learn a lot every time they come, and then they go back and research and try to evolve, because it's high time we should normalize conversation. We don't speak it in a very hush hush or stigma.
The period anali anna, it's a weird thing for most men. అది మీకు ఎలా, like, where did this idea come up?
I think for me, because I grew up in a family of 5 women, and it was never a thing about having a conversation only about periods. I think when we started off this under gender and health, we used to have a program called Women of Courage that used to speak about how men can play a bigger role in women's safety,
Okay.
how we can also create awareness on women's safety. And this was like in 2014 when She Teams launched. We were working with them. I think while conversations, we say, hey, this is another topic that needs more attention. And I think we started off. But I remember as a teenager, I used to go to medical shops. My sister would give me a slip. I used to go hand it over to the
Medical shop used to wrap it like a gift
and he would wrap it up and put it in a black cover and give it to me. I thought my sister is smuggling something for a long time. But I think later on in life, I realized this conversation needs to be very open. And end of the day, we have to make society more educated about various components, and menstrual hygiene is one of them.
In one of your previous interviews, మీరు ఇన్సిస్ట్ చేశారు ఏంటంటే యంగిస్తాన్ నీడ్స్ టు బి డెమోక్రటిక్ అండ్ డీసెంట్రలైజ్డ్. సో మీకు ఎప్పుడైనా అనిపించిందా దట్ యూ హ్యాడ్ టు గివ్ అప్ సంథింగ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ పొలిటికల్ అజెండా, ఆర్ జస్ట్ బికాస్ ఇట్స్ మోర్ ఫర్ పీపుల్, యంగిస్తాన్ ఇస్ ఫర్ పీపుల్? మీ థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ ఎక్కడన్నా డిడ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ అప్ సమ్వేర్?
Not at all. In fact, we have a small program called Active Citizen. Under that, what we do is we have a lot of conversations on young people on how they should take ownership. While ownership తీసుకోవాలి to question government. They say during elections, one of the most less area or age group that doesn't go vote is young people. So of course now it's changing little. The Gen Zs are doing some great work, but it needs to get more. So we have a lot of conversation encouraging people to go vote. Who they want to vote, it's up to them, but we tell them, you take ownership. Read about people who you want to elect. One. Second is we do youth parliaments in schools. Third is we also ask people, now you voted, vote వేసిండ్రు correct, పని అక్కడ అయిపోలేదు, పని అక్కడ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. You should start questioning if there is no street lights, the roads are bad, schools are bad, you are not getting the right information, raise conversations around it. Go report it to the people who need. So, in fact, we do a lot of conversations around that. So because Youngistaan is completely for people, and people need to, and it's young people. They need to take ownership on helping the poor, helping people who are in need, and it's a flat organization. Everybody gets the chance to come and start their own passion. వాళ్ళకేం చేయాలనుంది, they can come use this platform to do a better work.
I'm so happy that something like this exists, honestly.
Arey, thank you.
Yeah. Moving forward, sir, Dane ఏం పని చేసినా there will be critics talking something negative.
Correct.
ఇప్పుడు let's move to Transformers program. A critic would say it's a photo op opportunity, giving a haircut to a homeless person. మీరు ఈ critics ని ఎలా address చేస్తారు?
I don't know. I think when people are criticizing, that means people are noticing. So that
Nice way to
means,
look at it.
yeah, people are noticing. At least they are learning something new. So I had a lot of people not even thinking that Youngistaan will run for 12 years now. People thought, it's coming, emo cheskuntundu, time pass. But the amount of effort that has gone in, and the amount of lives getting transformed, that will show you the impact. And that those are small. Like for me, 1,000 critics and one smile. That one smile is any day bigger than anything else. So I'm happy unless and until people are noticing. I would love for people to come and join me to solve whatever they think we are doing wrong. Come help me do better. Maybe I don't know. So I would love to learn. Yeah, many people, when people come and say you're doing this wrong, I say, please come and help. Because I'm not perfect. Very few people come.
We are a generation who likes to criticize.
Social media is good generation, but social media critics. But yeah, I think I'm very happy for people to come and share, help me do better. And to be honest, that one video, in fact, we didn't record. I think there was another volunteer who joined Youngistaan in 2013, and he was part of the entire activity. And I was on a holiday. I was not in Hyderabad that time, and he came and he did a video, and that video went viral.
Okay.
Because of which I got a lot of help. I got more volunteers. We started in other cities across India. So the intention of the heart behind the work matters. It's okay, no problem.
So you've said almost 5 million people and at least 70,000 volunteers. They felt better, right? How do you measure this?
We have our own assessment tools back end in the organization. So we do, every program has its own evaluation processes. We do, a lot of needs assessments. We do, a lot of back end evaluation that happens in the work. So we track how many people have come, how many people have gone on field and volunteered with us. So over 70,000 people volunteered with us in the last 12 years. And I think there is so much work to be done. So all the work is tracked. Impact assessments are created. A lot of website, if you go and check, there are a lot of reports that are put up for people to see what kind of impact we are creating. And for us also, we also want to know how much work we had done, how better we can do, and try to create as much of impact. In fact, the number might be different now. That 5 million number was a little older. We have to, in fact, only through our MHM awareness, we reached over 2.5 million lives. So yeah, we are trying to check what best we can do.
That's nice. But ఇంత నెగటివిటీ చూసినప్పుడు ఎమోషనల్ డిస్ట్రెస్, empathetic fatigue అలాంటివి కూడా అవుతాయి for these volunteers or even for you. Did you ever want to give up and
No, I think as for volunteers, of course, they, in fact, my team that works, they are the one who go on ground. They see there's so much of trauma that they carry back home. I know I haven't slept few days thinking about somebody dying. Somebody I know we were helping passed away, and somebody dying in your own hand. These are all traumatic experiences, and we try and do for our volunteers have a small. In quarterly, we do mental health conversations. In fact, we're trying to add more to it and see what more we can do to help people feel better mentally. I never felt that I wanted to give up. For me, this comes very. It does stress me out. I won't. I won't. I don't want to lie saying, "Oh, it doesn't stress me," because I feel for some reason, like I've seen other countries, how uh, community service is more evolved and valued. India is way behind. Social workers, people who are choosing development sector are not a very appreciated people. So I think they struggle a lot, and I think we have to evolve. I think more and more generation comes in, more and more people should start identifying, noticing the good work the social workers are doing, and respect them for the work that they do. Someday, I hope the development sector becomes like one of the most highly rated professions, so that more people can get help. Yeah, so yeah, I think those kind of challenges when I see outside, it does stress me out, but I love what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm very happy. It wakes, they say, when you wake up, you have to feel happy about the profession you're in. I think this does that for me.
I'm sure you feel a lot happy with all the blessings that you receive.
Yeah, I hope. Thank you.
But I'm sure bad days and, what is one thing that keeps you going?
One thing, a lot of things. I think good food, good friends. I think my belief in God, that helps, and the impact that we're trying to create, that helps, and I think these are few things. I'd like to travel. I just try to refresh. I think good people around you matters the most. I think these are few things that
For sure.
keep me going, and and wonderful people like you and your entire organization who are trying to make an impact by putting out stories like these. Those things also motivates people to do more.
But when it comes to India, we are a population of young people. And with what you're doing, it could have been, ఇంకా చాలా మేజర్‌గా, చాలా పెద్దగా జరుగుండొచ్చు. Do you think money is something that holds back these young people?
More than money, like I still remember when I started off the organization, like our parents, they said, you do NGO work after your 60 years or after you finish your career. That was the ideology a lot of people grew up with. Nobody focused on making it like a daily thing.
Help people.
So yeah, helping people like a daily thing. So it was more of a religious festival day or a birthday celebration day, but it's not was something regular. But like rightly you said, India has close to 60% of young people, and if everybody starts making an impact, I think that's what started the mission of Youngistaan too. When we started in 2012, it was never about, we didn't have money, so there's no money. Best thing you can do is enable young people so that they go back and change. And if everybody looks after people in their own environment, their own building, their own community, there's so much that can happen. And we need to start thinking less about ourselves and start thinking about
Like you said,
others.
खून में है.
Yeah,
They are
it's-
more empathetic compared to all the
Absolutely.
white people.
Yeah, we are more, we've seen more struggles. People grew up like me. There are every alternate stories where people haven't got the resources that they want, so people have fought battles. They can go back and help people. I mean, that is something, you have to be more sensitive for others, and keep all the false agendas where people might be saying, look after yourselves. Money is solution for everything. You have to work hard. I'm not saying don't earn money. You have to earn money, otherwise you can't look after yourself. But you also do something good for others.
There's another program called Man Up.
Yes.
And Telanganalo, where it's highly patriarchal, అప్పుడు మీరు మెన్ని masculinity గురించి క్వశ్చన్ చేస్తే, do you think people got offended or how did that work?
Actually, the intention was for Man Up when we started off for two things. One is there are a lot of people who were talking to girls about, safe touch, unsafe touch. But very few people would speak to boys on their safety. Boys go through a lot of abuse. They don't have anybody to speak to. So the idea was to speak up, stand up, man up. That was the conversation that we started. With that, we also spoke on consent. And started working with boys, young boys, adolescents, young people on how they need to, respect women, play their role at home, around their home. And of course, there are this part of side where people say, "Arey, my purane kar sakta hu, that is girls' job. These are boys' job." But then people evolved. Then say no. So they now, in fact, in our urban slums where we work, boys come and say, "I help out my mother in cooking." And girls should go play all sports. These are boys having conversations.
These are the boys that you've trained.
Yes, we worked with. So it's nice to see that. And of course, there is lots of conversation that still needs to happen. On social media, on TV, on paper, we talk a lot about this, but on grassroots, things still needs to change. Yeah, I think lots to do.
A lot of work to do. So, a part of that, మీరు band ఉన్నది, started as a journalist, now Youngistaan. What's the end game?
I don't know. I think one of my dreams always in all my LinkedIn profiles, everywhere you'll find that one last line which says, "I want to take Youngistaan to all cities." And then I say, I want to someday make a movie.
Interesting.
I also say someday I want to release an album. I don't know whether that will happen or not. But these are few dreams that I keep writing, foreseeing.
This is, I think, one of the dreams.
Yeah, I want to make some movies someday. My name is there in IMDb now, but I don't know. It's like someday.
I hope you make one very soon.
Thank you. I want to write a book. That is also I want people to see, and about my journey, about Youngistaan. There's so much here that I want people to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be few things that I want to do next. But apart from that, I don't know. There's so much that can be done.
Yeah. What does your mom think, sir? Ante anta kashtanga, she brought up all the kids.
My mother still doesn't understand NGO thing. She thinks something I'm doing out of habit, interest, okay, but I'm sure she doesn't tell it to me.
Stressed అవుతారా అంటే ఏం చేస్తున్నానని?
I think she does. I don't know. She doesn't show it to me. She scolds me a lot, even now. But she does speak highly about me with her friends, which is, I think, like all parents. Parents never come to children and they say, "Oh, you're doing good job." They'll go tell everybody else. But yeah, I'm very happy, very grateful for. I'm sure she's had her own challenges and whatever little she could try and do, and she did it for all of us. I'm very happy.
But you've spent all these years telling strangers, spend your energy in helping other people. So, you want to be like, you might get tired of people not listening.
But it'll continue. Like, for example, I'm sure there are a lot more organizations who have been working for last 30, 40, 50 years. And they're still doing that. Although, still are reaching out to people. I think we have to keep telling. I read one, I think somewhere I read about this conversation where you have to keep telling people what to do. You have to keep encouraging, keep repeating, and then they will do that. So I think that is what I will still continue to do. We'll still continue to tell young people, hey,
Never giving up on that.
Don't lose your energy, make an impact, do whatever you want to do, and also because it changes their life. We think when you're helping others, we are changing their life, but we are changing our life. We are becoming a better people. So I will forever keep talking for people who cannot talk for themselves. So that is something I'm very besharam.
Do you think there was something, anything that Youngistaan couldn't fix? Any project, any program?
Lots of them, a lot of projects we started, we failed, because there is no one solution for anything. It's all about testing, trying to do better. So everything what we did, I don't think we succeeded in anything yet. We still keep doing. We are trying to do whatever little. Working with humans is one of the most difficult things to do. So things will keep adapting, things will keep changing. Even if we do that 1% of impact, it's a lot that we try to do.
What's the most challenging program?
I think everything has its own way, education, health, disaster relief, working on livelihood and hunger, active citizen, climate, these are all animal care. So these are all very heavy behavioral change conversations. Working with juvenile homes, these have been one of our difficult spaces, but there is so much that we are trying to do, and there is nothing called very difficult. Everything has been learning and trying to understand what best we can do from all of that.
And it's not fair for me to ask you this question, but a favorite or the most successful program out of...
I think everything has its own.
So
I think
does that.
Youngistaan itself is a success.
I'm sure, of
So
course.
it's very difficult
But
for
your
me to tell.
favorite?
Like, if it wasn't something I would not be able to do, I wouldn't have started. But everything is my favorite. I think making an impact in a human, trying to make them feel that they can live their life with whatever little, that itself is success for me.
I think it's not the program, but the feeling that...
Yeah, that's what matters. Yeah, I think like you will randomly walk on the road, some random person walks up and says, hey, I used to be your student there, and, you helped me there. And like, that's all matters. I think those kind of impact is something matters. Like how today randomly you said, I interned
Yeah.
long time ago. That itself is like a massive happiness that brings to us, so very happy for all the opportunity. I'm very grateful to make an impact. Trying to do something for others is an opportunity that I take with a lot of pride.
We hope you keep making more such impact, endless.
I just hope.
And lastly, if that stranger మీ బ్యాండ్ అప్పుడు ఎవరైతే వచ్చి మాట్లాడారో, if you meet that stranger again today, what would the conversation be like?
I wish that person came back, but I think I would use many more people like him to make an impact. But I would really appreciate that person coming and giving their thought, because every person thought matters a lot. Like even for our Animal Heroes program, it was never something that we wanted to start. One of our volunteers came and said, hey, can we do something? And we said, okay, let's start. And we created a impact around that. In fact, Women of Courage too started with one girl volunteer. We wanted to do something, and we said, okay, let's have a chat. And we went to a coffee shop. We got all our women volunteers together and said, hey, how do you think we should do something? And one of the girls, in fact, very heartbreaking, she came and she said, why don't you do a campaign on women's safety? Then I said, okay, what do you mean by? Because I know I have sisters, I've seen. Then she was telling about how she used to take bus and people used to touch her inappropriately, and she used to get down the bus, and it was a daily fear. Then I asked her, why don't you complain? Then she said, no, I wanted to complain, but I had a fear of what if that person gets down and throws acid on me,
I think most girls have
or
this.
beats me up. And that minute it broke my heart. It was like, imagine every day getting out and thinking whether I'll come back home safe. Living with that thought is horrible. And that's when we started off this program called Women of Courage, where we would just go to schools, colleges, communities, and speak on harassment. And that's when She Teams also was working, and we collaborated with them. And all these ideas that people came up with makes Youngistaan what it is today, because it belongs to them. And there are a lot of stories like this: homeless people, young people getting physically abused, boys, girls. And I think the ideas helped us make an impact. So we're very grateful for everybody for sharing that thought with us.
What's the next program?
Our plan now is to get more deeper in the work that we're doing. Like, we have a really good adolescent program. We're working with young girls on ensuring they stay back in school, so that we prevent early marriage, early pregnancy, anything. So keeping them in schools. We are working on Nasha Mukt Bharat, prevention of drugs and substances. That is something we are working now. Of course, early education, menstrual health, skilling. I think skilling is something I'm trying to get more deeper into, creating more opportunities for young people to get into jobs, build their skills. I think now getting more deeper in our existing work, that is what we are trying to do, build more of our capacity. I think my next step would be learning more. I want to spend time in educating myself to make a larger impact, because in the busyness of trying to do things, I feel I'm not able to give time to build my capacities. So that is what I'm trying to do now, and do a lot of partnerships, work with government, work with corporates, work with other NGOs, etc.
And lastly, BNS lo memo ma audience anta young people. And do you want to tell them something?
You guys are doing amazing, and I think what you are doing is much needed. We need young people to hear, to write information. Don't fall into fake information. I think that is what you are doing amazing. Kudos to your entire team for doing that. And all the young people who are watching this show, I would say, use your life, make an impact. You either can be ordinary or extraordinary. Don't be ordinary people. Be extraordinary people. Live your life to the fullest. Make an impact to the fullest. Enjoy life, but also go down in history as somebody who left some mark. People should remember you for you doing something. And that is my take home for young people.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. That's very
thank
sweet.
you.
Thank you for being with us on Unscripted today.
Thank you so much. All the best.